Okay, today we're going to learn how to fall properly. Now, you think of in terms of learning how to defend yourself or try to prevent yourself from getting hurt. Really, as we get older, especially, chances of us falling and hurting ourselves are probably far greater than someone attacking us. So it's, learning how to fall is an important aspect of martial arts because we are going to be learning some takedowns here in the coming weeks. But it's real important just in everyday life that the majority of injuries to people, I think 30 and under, is from falling. So let's eliminate those injuries by learning how to fall properly. A couple things we're going to learn and some basic rules about falling. One is you want to try to disperse the impact over as much of your body as possible. I know when I was 12 years old and I was sparring, someone stepped on my foot. Now, I had been taught how to fall, but at 12 it didn't sink in. I reached back as I fell and I broke my wrist, a very common injury. Because what happens is all of your body weight is on that one joint or that one body part. So really the big thing is you need to disperse it, try to take as much of the impact and disperse it predominantly over large muscle groups. Number two, so in other words, we're going to learn to roll as much as we possibly can with our fall. Sometimes you can't roll, and you just have to do what you can. But if you can roll and disperse it, you do so. Number two is tuck your chin. This is probably the most important of them all. You may not know this, but the guy who created the Atkins diet, Dr. Atkins, died by slipping up north, hit his head on the back of the cement, and died. It's very common. And I take it for someone who's not from up north, who every time I seem to go up north, I end up looking up. I have learned to tuck my chin. Every time I end up looking up, I don't hit my head. In other words, I slip, all of a sudden here, my chin is tucked. Because guys, that anything, the last thing you want to have happen is have your head slap on the ground. So you have to get in that habit. I talk about that all the time, just basic fighting, but in falling, it's imperative. You cannot let your head come back. So that's probably the most important. I put tucking the chin number one. Number two is dispersing the impact. Number three is making sure that when you hit the ground, you slap or you try to create a counter impact. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but when your body hits the ground, it creates a shock wave. And if you can hit the ground and slap the ground at the exact same time as your body hits the ground, you create a counter shock wave. And believe it or not, they have a tendency to disperse each other, and you will not feel the impact nearly as much. Take it from someone who's been thrown hundreds, if not thousands of times. The only times that I've gotten my wind knocked out of me or hurt is when I didn't slap the ground properly. So that's another thing we're trying to do is time our fall. Then when the big body part hits the ground, we try to slap the ground at the same time. And then the last one, and also a very important one, is to have to breathe out. That when you get in the habit of falling, that you force the wind out of you, because that's what happens when you get the wind knocked out of you. And as I played any sport, especially sports like football, you get the wind knocked out of you, and you can't have that problem breathing because all of a sudden your lungs get impacted and the air is forced out of them faster than they want to breathe out, and that's when you get that shock waves to your lungs. So to avoid that, to keep from getting the wind knocked out of you, breathe out. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm a big guy, so the ground's pretty far down there. So I'm going to try to get myself a little closer, and I recommend you do the same thing. What we're going to do is we're going to crouch down. Just down as much as you can. So from here, we're going to go ahead and footwork going straight back. But before we even go here, let's go all the way down and put our hips on the ground. So we think terms right now, we're thinking about falling straight back. So things to remember. 1, tuck the chin. 2, roll. 3, slap the ground. And when you do your falls properly, the only time you should have any pain or a little stinging sensation is in your hands when you slap the ground. If you do it properly, that'll be the only pain you'll feel. So when I'm working here, I want you to get in this position and watch what we do. Roll and tuck. Roll and tuck. And if you notice, I'm hitting the hand right by my hip. I'm not out here. I try not to reach out because if I go this way, go that way, I can hurt my shoulder. I don't keep my hands in tight. So I try to have my hand hit where the impact is. Now once you've gotten comfortable doing this, again I tuck, then you're ready to stand it up. And we do the exact same thing, but this time let's do it from a crouch position. So the motion is going to be here, hands up, and slap. Again, crouch position, breathe out, and slap. Okay, so work on that. That's an important fall to learn. Now, that's a great starting point for falling because you really get to illustrate everything. A couple things though, very rarely do you fall straight back. And I'm falling somewhat on my coccyx bone and my spine. And that's an area I try to avoid if I'm falling. Sometimes you can avoid it, sometimes you can't. So we now need to learn how to fall to the side, especially in a martial arts class where you're going to get swept. Your legs are going to go up, you're going to go down, you're going to fall more left or right side of your body. So we need to work on this. So we're going to go back down, all the way back down to where we're on our hips again. But this time, instead of going straight back, I want you to be on your left or right hip. I want you to take your left hand. So if I'm going to fall to the left, which I'm doing now, I take the side that I'm falling's hand and pull it by my ear. This basically makes sure that I don't reach and basically gives me in a great position to slap the ground and tells you which hand you're going to slap with. So just like I did before, slap and roll. And if you notice as I roll, I'm rolling on the left side of my body. My hip bone, my gluteus maximus, also know the butt muscles, all the way up my back, my latissimus dorsi, all those big back muscles and hip muscles, those are muscles that can withstand impact. I'm going to try to avoid rolling on my spine. Now sometimes the momentum will take you left to right and you'll go to the other side. That's fine, but you're trying to avoid rolling on your spine predominantly. So again, here, boom, just roll. Just like we did before. Now the next step, a little bit more complicated. When we do it from crouch position, you have to not just fall over, because that's not how you get thrown. You get thrown and basically come straight down. So if you watch me as I fall left, watch what I do with my left foot. My left foot actually kicks out. My left hand is by my ear. I kick out and roll. So I'm following onto that side. Again, as I do this, the hip hits, and I try to disperse the impact. The back and upper muscles. So from here, I can also do the right side. Watch the right foot kick out and roll. And if you notice again, breathing out, slapping the ground on contact, and rolling. Now, when you do your rolling, if you don't have mats, one of the best places to work your rolls is find a nice grassy area. Soft grass is a good place to practice. Because, mats are nice, but mats aren't reality. Even this floor here is a little matted, but not too much. And reality is you need to learn how to fall on a substance that's going to tell you whether you're doing it right or not. Now, once you've gotten to the point where you can fall straight back, you can go left and go right from a crouch position, now it's time to do it from a standing position. And just like before, as I do this, I kick the leg out like I got swept, bam! My body goes straight down. And I take my right hand, as it goes down, and slap the ground. So you heard the impact. What the impact you hear? You heard the impact of the hand. One more time. This time we'll go left. Boom, left leg is kicked. Here comes that left hand. Bam, and then I'm down. Now also, when you work with a partner, and we're going to be talking about sweeps here next lesson, if I'm down and my partner's on top of me, I have my chin tucked. I never rest my head. I always tell myself to tuck my chin. All right, practice your falls. They may save you more ways than one.